Hello and welcome to our first episode, or first in our series of Perfect Homes Live TV. Today I'm going to introduce you to my brother Paul. Okay, he's going to be doing some talking, and today's series is basically all about Chiang Mai and why we think it's arguably Thailand's most livable city. But first of all, let Paul introduce himself.
Thank you, Simon. As Simon said, my name's Paul, one of the sales managers here at Perfect Homes. Been with Perfect Homes for 6 years now, nearly 6 years now, and really excited to answer some questions. Me and Simon both have a huge passion, for property, and also we have a massive passion for Chiang Mai. So really excited to come on and talk today about a city that we both love.
Again, I have lived here for over 20 years now, and still enjoy living in this great vibrant city with all its culture, and it's just a fun city to live. Okay, lots of great people and so on. But let's start, because when we started this series we actually thought, well, let's start talking about property, let's start talking about parts of Chiang Mai. And then someone turned around, and we're mentioning your name, Lindell, said most people don't even know where Chiang Mai is or anything about it. So before telling us everything about why we live here, let's actually discuss where Chiang Mai is. Paul, what's your views on where Chiang Mai is located?
Well, Chiang Mai is in the north of Thailand, about 700 kilometers. Well, you cycled it, but 700 kilometers north of Bangkok. In a mountainous area, and we're an hour from Bangkok by flight, but we're also only a few hours from using the international airport from places like Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, not too far from Australia, and also then 6, 7, 8 hours back into Europe. So that's basically where we are. I think, Simon, what you said was, we live in this Chiang Mai bubble, and we kind of assume that, Chiang Mai, everyone knows about Chiang Mai. It's where we live, it's our home now, and we didn't really realize that, actually we need to explain to people that might be watching wherever they are in the world, that we need to actually tell people where Chiang Mai is, why people love Chiang Mai, what there is in Chiang Mai, and so on and so on. So I think it's a really good place for us to start the series in.
Okay. As Paul says, we are actually only a couple of hours flights from many places. Hence, we are a big melting pot of different nationalities: Chinese, Malaysian, Hong Kong, Singaporeans, and obviously the Westerners that come here from Australia as a main point, all over Europe. Obviously the UK, there's a big UK community here, and so on. So there's obviously reasons why so many people come to live in Chiang Mai. Okay, right. One of the main points I get told, you live in Chiang Mai, obviously they've never heard of it, but one of their thoughts is everybody lives in mud huts. There's elephants walking around everywhere. There must be, and everybody goes to the temples every single day. Well, there is a lot of temples in Chiang Mai, and when I came here, there was the odd elephant walking along the streets, but that was 20 years ago, and he was not really a wild elephant. He was just coming along to beg for some bananas or something like that. So it is different, okay? The reality of living in Chiang Mai it's very comfortable, okay? Paul, your thoughts on the reality of living in Chiang Mai?
Yeah, I think nowadays the city's developed so much that in many ways I actually believe my thoughts, certain points, we're actually probably more developed than what I remember back in the UK. You've been 20 years out of the UK now, I've been 12, nearly 13, and there's nothing here that we don't have that we don't have here that we had in the UK. A good example, maybe a simple example, would be the internet. The internet here is better than anything I had in the UK. And even when we've been back in the last few years just on holiday, we have better high-speed internet here. And maybe that leads into some, why a lot of digital nomads like it. But
very valid point. Where was I recently, or a couple of years back, in the UK, staying with my parents in the UK, trying to get decent internet connection, and people saying, "Oh no, this is really good. This is really good." It's like, no, here in Chiang Mai, everywhere we go, we've got high-speed internet. This makes it obviously keep in touch with people's families a lot easier, everything like that. So, the internet here and everything around us is ultra modern, or is modern. Okay, we're not Hong Kong, we're not Japan, we're not the heart of London in technology and everything like that, but we've got everything. We don't live in mud huts, believe it or not. Visit our website and have a look at the accommodation available to you. And this is standard. This is not Western, just for the Westerners. These condos, everything like that, which we obviously will discuss as the series goes on. It will be a focus of our series. But they're ultra comfortable, ultra modern, or modern, what we call ultra. And the houses, very nice. 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom homes with a nice garden at very, very affordable pricing. Let's touch very briefly on the food, because food is another major reason people move to Thailand. Obviously, a lot of people love Thai food. I am much more the Thai food kind of guy. I love my rice, I love my tasty, spicy dishes. And Chiang Mai, it's everywhere. The reality is, people that love food love Chiang Mai. Paul, I must say you haven't quite lost your Western tastes. You're much more the Western kind of food guy.
Still working on it.
But do you struggle to get Western food here?
No, absolutely not. I am still, I do enjoy Thai food, but not as much as someone like Simon. I still do enjoy the Western comfort, so to speak, and very easy to get absolutely everything here that you would in the West, in the UK, or wherever you're from. And that's whether you want to eat out or whether you actually want to cook it at home. You can go and buy any ingredients and cook yourself at home if that's what you want to do. But no, the food I think is absolutely delicious, whatever kind of food you want, and very, very affordable on a whole. I think one of the things that we've loved for the whole time that we've been here is that you can eat from as cheap as you like, both out and at home, and then up to as expensive as you like as well. But you can still get, in the markets, street food, absolutely delicious food for what, 30 baht, 35 baht?
35 baht, which is, 80 pence a dish, or under $1, or around about $1.20 a dish, I would say. We better try and cover the pricing. All the way up to your high-end meals, high-end dining, fine hotels. All the hotels here obviously welcoming you in to go and to have a meal, have a buffet or anything like that. But obviously there is every level of food. And as Paul says, the ability to get decent, affordable food is amazing here. I'm a street food kind of guy, as I said. I can eat any little shop, any little shack on the side of the road. Paul prefers, as some of our other members of our family prefer, the higher end restaurants or more comfortable restaurants. But at the same time, they're not expensive. We're not here lavishing out several $100s a meal every night of the week or any time we go out, but we can afford to eat out regularly. I talked to some of my friends back in the UK. Going out for dinner, even at a pub restaurant, is an event. When you've got 2 or 3 kids and your wife and everything, it's an expensive meal. Here, we can eat out pretty much any evening of the week that we want to, or the wife does not want to cook, or I'm not a cook, so any night of the week, it's my turn to cook. So my turn to cook, we go on out. Okay.
So sorry, Sam. Just on that, I think for me, one of the biggest things that over the 12 years is that you have the quality of life here.
Yes.
in the UK, if I imagine swapping life back to the UK, it's not something that, you know, I love the UK, we're from the UK, I love to visit for a holiday, but if we had to set up a property company in the UK, we'd be swapping the superhighway for the M25.
Yes.
We'd be swapping eating out 2 or 3 nights a week, pretty much wherever we wanted or within reason, to once a month if we were lucky.
Absolutely.
We look at our parents, we're very lucky to have our parents here. They can, if they wished, eat out 5 or 6 nights a week here.
Absolutely.
How often did they do that in the UK? So the quality of life here is something that I know myself, and I'm sure for you, is that family life is so much more affordable. It's easy to achieve, or easier to achieve here, and I would say much more enjoyable.
The quality of life is obviously one of the main points, and that isn't a reason why we will talk about who moves here shortly.
Yes.
But another part of creating that quality of life is obviously the weather. Okay,
Absolutely.
It's actually cold here at the moment. We're suffering a bit. I think what was it this morning as I was coming round, sunny and 18 degrees Celsius. I work in Celsius, 18 degrees Celsius, and I'm waking up to the sunshine. Well, actually, it was a little bit dark this morning to get here to go live, but as I come around, the sun's rising, got the mountains in the background, and life is pretty good. I lived in the UK for a long time, and I did not like sitting on the motorway in the snow or scraping off the ice in the morning before going out to work. As you wake up, and it's dark all the way up until the point you turn up for work. And then when you finish work, it's dark. So the weather here is great. It doesn't suit everybody because it's hot. The summer season is hot. Is there any lies about the heat?
No, I think March and April, even if you're someone that loves the heat, and there's a lot of people that love the sun, love the heat, those months they're on another level. Yeah. And most people I know will be running the aircon pretty much 24/7 for March and April. Simon mentioned the weather at the moment. This is my favorite time of the year, December, January. We're just going into February now, and it will start to get warmer. But those months are, for me, perfect.
It's perfect. Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
You can enjoy the sun, not burn. You can pretty much enjoy it most of the day. A little bit chilly, a bit like an English summer. In the morning and the evening.
Our winter is an English summer.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a very good way of looking at it. We know a lot of people that come here to escape their winters. Okay, and obviously that is a great thing to do for people. The winter, it gets people depressed. Okay, not everybody. Obviously, there's some people out there that love the winter, but a lot of people escape their winters because the winter affects people in different ways. Long dark nights, the cold makes you shiver to the bone. I would much rather be hot. People see me in the summer here, sometimes no aircon on, and they all say, well, aren't you hot? Well, I'd much rather be hot because I've told you, in England, I don't like the cold, so I moved from England to somewhere hot, so I can't moan about both. So I will stick with the heat. I can always put the aircon on if I'm getting too hot. But, the weather is just beautiful.
Even the rainy season.
The rainy season.
Even the rainy season. So we have a rainy season here, right?
Yes.
And it's warm. It's still just warm.
Yeah.
It rains and maybe an hour in the evening, half an hour, it's big downpour.
That's it.
And then
a bit hot and humid at that time.
Yeah. But I mean, you wouldn't because it's raining pretty hard, but it's still not. It's not windy and cold.
No.
It's still pleasant.
Yeah. Try not to be driving when those downpours happen, and you literally, the roads can turn to river very, very quickly. Okay. Yes, I would say in the rainy season there are longer showers, there are longer days of rain where the river levels will rise, but again, it's warm, it's not cold, it's beautiful to see that rain. But that's, you're right. The rainy season is another lovely time here in Chiang Mai. Pretty good all year round, except we might as well touch on it while we're talking about the weather. Our main negative about the weather is there is a smoky season here. Okay, we're not going to touch on it too much this time. We'll talk about it again later. There's no doubt about it. The pollution levels in Chiang Mai for 1.5 to 2 months can be, and maybe sometimes on a really bad year, 3 months, can be extremely bad. Okay, no one's saying it's not here. It is here. You know, this year we're having a great year at the moment. It's some of the lowest levels it's been since they started recording, but it's here. There's no way around it. What we tend to do is just stay indoors a lot more.
I think different people deal with it in different ways, right? We kind of, you don't want to be outside in it, especially exercising if you don't have to be, right? Mm-hmm. It affects, you know, some people it affects them quite a lot, and they want to really kind of get away from it. Other people, I don't think it affects so badly. Doesn't really bother me so much. I know you're not, you know, but you know, I think it's something that people say to me, what would I recommend? And if you are location dependent, it's the best time to use that to see other parts of the world. You know, if you can,
go down
or
south,
down south,
down to the islands and stuff like that.
Most people that are location can get out at that time, whether you're retired, whether you have a business that allows you to be flexible. They will go down and spend a few months, you know, Phuket, Hua Hin, and so that's how you get around it, and you come back when it clears up.
Agreed. The people that live here generally close the doors and turn on the air purifiers. Air purifiers are quite cheap. It's not ideal, but it's quite amusing. We have Chinese clients come in a lot. We're running air purifiers. We're complaining about the air pollution outside, or people are talking about the air pollution outside. And we have Chinese people say, well, this is nothing. We have this all year round. So yes, we do have a bad period in Chiang Mai for the weather, and it's smoky season. Anyone really concerned about it, it's the time to go and get out of Chiang Mai, I would say.
Quite a lot of people do more and more now, don't they?
Yes.
You will see February, and then they come back at sort of the end of April. And it's a nice way to see the rest of Thailand.
Yeah, so the main points we've covered on why Chiang Mai is, you know, the reality of it. It's a great modern in pro rata terms, great food, great weather, and great accommodation. Okay, housing, whether you choose to rent or buy, there's great options for where you choose to live. Let's move it over. Who lives here in Chiang Mai?
Well, I would say that the people that live here, in terms of expats. So we read when you were researching a little bit. I read that there's 20,000 expats here. I personally would have said a lot more. You know, if you'd asked me, I think there's a lot more. The range is incredible. I met 2 people from Estonia the other day. You know, you get people still meeting people from new countries, but predominantly, you've Americans, UK, Australians, Kiwis. You know, you've got your Asian expats, your Japanese. They have their own community here, don't they? And there's a lot of you obviously many Europeans. There's so many of all, you know, the vast range of countries here. And some of them, you know, some people you think you've been here 20 years, you probably think you know, but there's so many new people that, you know, that keep coming, the new communities that kind of that build up, and then the ones that there's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for, integration between them. We have a lot of good.
Staying on that point, that was my next question to you. I get asked, or we get asked a lot in emails or questions, or when we meet people who say, I want to live where all the expats live. Because in certain communities, I think expats tend to congregate. Here, that's not the case.
There's expats everywhere. You know, I think there is a trend, I would say personally, and that trend is when people arrive, generally, if they're on their own, they will probably rent an apartment close to the old city, or particularly Niemen. So they start in a so let's say an apartment in Niemenheimen area, for example, would be a trend.
If you flew to Australia, you'd probably look to live around Sydney your first time.
Exactly.
I did. Okay.
And then maybe they'll meet someone. Maybe, you know, after a year or two, they then maybe move out into a house and want more space. And then there's so many different locations, you know, Hang Dong, Doi Phuket, Mae Jo, Mae Rim, you know, all these areas that there's expats everywhere, and from all nationalities.
They don't generally congregate in one zone, okay? Yes, Niemen Hayman, yes, the old city or nearby Chiang Klan area, there's a lot of expats, but that's just because there's a lot of people. It's the city density, okay? When we talk about Chiang Mai as a city, we prefer to refer to it as a big town. It's not really a city if you come from anywhere like Hong Kong or a Chinese city or London city. We're not even close. We're a low-rise, large town, in my view, but that can be debated all day long. But the people are not all in one place. They are spread out. A lot of people don't. They want to integrate it with the community, and I think that's a very important part. People that move to Chiang Mai want to live in Chiang Mai and presume, you know, and integrate with the local community, shop in local markets, and go to local restaurants outside of their area. And spread out. I don't find many expats just want to talk to the same nationality every day, day in and day out. There obviously is a few that don't feel comfortable learning the language. Paul's very, very fluent in Thai. I speak Thai quite well. I can't read or write before anyone else asks, but learning Thai, which we will invite some people on later on in the show, in the series, we'll talk about learning Thai and why it's great to learn Thai. It was something I did very early on, this time when I came 20 odd years ago, and it's been the best move I ever made as my first time when I first got here in Chiang Mai, was to learn the language. Paul has done the same, and it helps you integrate, and when you're outside of town, obviously there's not so many people that do speak English, you can communicate, you can get by, you can get what you like, which is great fun. You don't want to be tied to the same spots, same restaurants, same locations, talking to the same people every day. You want to get out, you want to meet people.
I think with that, on that point, wherever you choose to live, whether you do come into to live in Niemen Hayman, or you know, you do live in, for example, Hang Dong, you're going to be around the local people.
Absolutely.
So you're not just going to have a whole street or a whole condominium building where you're only expats, you're only Westerners from wherever. No, there will be Thai people all around you.
Absolutely.
And I think that maybe that leads in that the people here, Thai people, I know we'd certainly agree, is we love Thai people. The culture is amazing.
Yes.
And particularly my experiences, particularly in Chiang Mai, I would say. Mm-hmm. Just the whole friendly smile. I would say that other places down south maybe had more bad experiences. Some of the holiday islands maybe more bad experiences with foreigners that are just on a 2-week holiday, and I think it kind of tarnishes the reputation of us. But there isn't so much of that in Chiang Mai, and I think the Thai people appreciate that.
Oh, I 100% agree. Chiang Mai is a very welcoming place to the expats. Further out, very welcoming. You have to respect the culture. We're living in Thailand at any time. Respect the culture, respect the beliefs and everything like that. But you'll be left alone. You'll be left to carry on with you let everybody, bygones be bygones, as they say, I suppose, one way of looking at it. And then you live a very comfortable, happy life, pretty much left alone.
Sorry, before we move on, I think it's when we get emails in or inquiries in, how many people say to us, "Oh, I want to be in a safe part.
Yes.
I want to be in a safe community," and we don't. Where in Chiang Mai isn't safe?
Safety.
I mean, it could happen anywhere in the world. We have to be very careful because obviously anything can happen anywhere in the world, right? But generally speaking, you know, Chiang Mai, in my opinion, is as safe as it can come.
Safety. We hadn't planned on touching this, but it's a very good point. If you actually think back, anybody out there where you come from, if I could tell you, ask yourself very quickly now, how many people in the last 20 years do you know that have been robbed or mugged on the streets where you live. Okay, a very actual point and fact, I actually, in being robbed on the streets in Chiang Mai in 20 years, is one.
Really?
One person.
Oh, you know, sorry. I
That
thought
I
you
know.
knew.
No, I know.
You know
okay.
of, right. Me? One, yeah.
Okay.
One.
That's I'm sure there's not many places around the world where safety is so great. Break-ins, they happen anywhere in the world, but very, very, very few. Safety here from the people is amazing. My daughter lives here. We feel, she has an amazing lifestyle. She can go out. She's very safe. We're very proud of that factor. What's not safe here? Don't just come here and get on a motorbike and drive on the roads. Okay, don't learn the road culture. The road culture is very different. The roads in Thailand are some of the most dangerous, or are the most dangerous in Asia, allegedly. And you can see it. Not so much in Chiang Mai. There's quite a good level of driving here, and the speed is a bit slower in town. But the statistics point out that Thailand has got dangerous roads. One thing to know here, if you come here and you're driving, is the road rules, the road laws. They're more guidelines, I would say. Believe me, they don't always stop at a red light. They're getting better, but people don't always stop at the red lights. Road laws are road guidelines. So one of the best things I talk to people when they first get here is, even if it's a one-way street, before crossing it, look both ways, okay? Because there can easily be a motorbike that comes on down the one-way street the wrong way, and you're not expecting it. UK road laws, people stick to them. Zebra crossings, people stop. Red lights, people stop. Here, it's a bit more.
Yeah, there's some big differences as well, isn't there? The one that I learned very quickly when I first came is that people flashing the lights.
Yes.
In the UK, in London, that meant, you're letting you go. Here it means do not even think about going.
Yes.
So if someone turns up, flash. Oh, well, they flashed me. Thank you very much. Yeah. Big problem.
Here is a warning.
Yeah, it's a warning to.
Yeah. I'm coming. Don't get out of my way. Just not go. All right. So do be warned on the roads. Okay. So let's talk about. Let's talk about the other parts. Who lives here? Okay, we're talking about the nationalities, but what do they do? Are they retired? Are they business people? Are they teachers? Are they? What are they?
So there's quite a few crowds, I would say, or groups of people. Okay, quite a few groups of people. If we go from let's start with the digital nomad crowd. Okay, so the digital nomad crowd is basically Chiang Mai 3 or 4 years ago was voted #1 for digital nomads in the whole world.
Yeah,
and we had from what would you say, from say 2012, 13 kind of time. So many digital nomads came in, and these are basically people that can work from a laptop wherever they want in the world. They do a vast range of work, and they can do it from wherever they want in the world. But because of a lot of the things we've talked about, like the affordable rents, the super fast internet, the delicious food, the culture, the gateways to many other different places in Asia and Thailand, it became a hub, and especially Newman Road, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Became a hub.
Sure.
So there's so many of these people, and there still are. They do come and go. COVID has affected it slightly, but Chiang Mai has so many digital nomads here. That would be one, I would say. The Asian, just before we get to kind of the obvious ones like the retirees, just more not so obvious. The Asian education market.
Asian, absolutely. There's a lot of people coming in from China. They put their children through international schools here. The wealthy Chinese, they look, because of the ease of access back to China, international flights from Chiang Mai airport. They put their children into schools here. They find it very comfortable just to have their children get a decent education here in Chiang Mai. We'll talk about international schools here as we go forward. But yes, the Asian market, also talking about Asians, the Hong Kong people are commuting. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of commuters here. Maybe, you know, the weekends they can spend here, pre-COVID when there was lots of flights. A 2-hour flight home on a Friday afternoon and a 2-hour flight back Monday morning. There was a lot of people commuting from certain locations, but also they're still running their businesses. We talk about digital nomads, but also there's a lot of people that work online from all around Thailand, running their businesses back in Hong Kong, Singapore, and they just use Chiang Mai as a base. They can run you can run, especially with COVID now, there's a lot of people coming here because people have found out they don't have to work in an office so much.
Yeah.
Work from home. If you can work from home 2 miles up the road, you can work from home 20,000 kilometers away or 2,000 kilometers away from your office. So people are learning to work from home anywhere in the world, and that's where we come back to the internet connection. Chiang Mai has the fastest, some of the best internet around. It's a great place to be, so they can work anywhere. Obviously, there's a lot of teachers here helping in the education system.
Yeah, so a lot of the younger, there's quite a lot of young crowd, isn't there?
Yeah.
Probably, let's say 23 to 28, they come, they want to have an experience, you know, something different. They come and teach for a year. A lot of them end up staying 2 years, 3 years, and so on. But that's a big market here in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
One I've noticed more and more, and maybe that in the last year or so, is business people that have their factories in Lamphun.
Yes.
So recently I've met more and more people, and you know, ask them what brings them to Chiang Mai, what they're doing, and they have businesses or they're working for businesses, and they've been sent over from New Zealand or Australia or Europe, and they base themselves in Chiang Mai, which is about 20 minutes from Lamphun now, and they work. So they're based in Lamphun, and their factory or their offices are in Lamphun, and yeah, more and more people I think are doing on
again.
that,
There's a new era, a new generation of people also moving to Chiang Mai, and that's should we say the people are making their money in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and everything like that. There's a lot of those. There's a little bit of a crypto hub happening here. I think we'll find, which is a changing part of the market. You know, people are making some good money in cryptocurrency, and they're choosing to find places where they can live comfortably, get around. Obviously, going back to the internet, they can work online anywhere. So they're basing themselves here. I think we agree with that comment.
Yeah. There's a lot. I've met a lot, especially in this year where it's gone up a lot, and people are selling, and they want to put some of that money into, you know, property. There is a lot of people who are into their cryptocurrencies, and they've based themselves in Chiang Mai. Yeah. Then you've got, what else you've got? You've got so your teachers, the digital nomads, retire. Obvious one, a huge market for people retiring.
Chiang Mai is currently in the top 10 locations around the world to retire to. We can obviously see the obvious reasons for that. Affordability, the weather, and many of the other points we've already talked on. So the retirees are a major factor. There's a lot of social events going on here. So when people retire in the UK, I meet a lot of the retirees when they come here. They've still got so much life left to live. And they're looking for somewhere that gives them excitement again. A lot of people come here and start, 60 years plus, and ready to start learning a new language, ready to start learning a new culture. It seems to me that these people get younger, not older. As they're staying here, ways to increase life expectancy, I've checked, is social interaction. So back in the UK during the winter, it's very hard to get out, very hard to get to meet people, very few social events, that's my understanding. Whereas here, there's a lot of social events. There's the Chiang Mai Expat Club, which is very active in organising events and bringing people together to meet new people, make new friends. There's lots of different clubs, small clubs, there's lots of events going on, so these people have a lot to do on the social side.
Yeah, I'm really amazed when, I really enjoy chatting to the older communities here in Chiang Mai. I always find them to be extremely friendly.
Yes.
And, a 10-minute chat can turn into, 20 minutes, half an hour. And it amazes me what they do, they're 65, 70, even older, 75, 80 years. And what they're doing, they're out hiking, yoga, swimming, triathlons, and then you've got your others that are into things like bridge and bowls. There's a bowls club here.
There's a bowls club. There's a pickleball club.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of clubs.
There's
going.
a paddle. There's a
paddle
ball's a new one I just seen set up.
Okay.
So it's literally anything that they've not had time to do.
Yes.
In the West, when people finally have the time and the opportunity, it's here and they're enjoying it.
We missed the main one, golf.
Golf, sorry, a big one.
Lots of high quality, high-end golf courses here in Chiang Mai. Yeah. People using it for a holiday destination, flying in, or retirees going out enjoying the discounted rates for retirees here or expats here. Very affordable again on very high-end, top-quality golf clubs. We're planning on bringing someone in to talk about the golf here in Chiang Mai very shortly, because it's a major one for retirees.
I was speaking to a Korean guy the other day, and he was telling me the price difference. He plays 3 or 4 times a week in Korea. I can't remember the exact pricing he was telling me, but it was the price difference was astonishing.
Yes.
And he could afford to play maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. Here he's playing 3 or 4 times, and the quality of the golf club is
absolutely amazing. Another prime one, people here, it's something we've seen a lot of, motorbike clubs, touring clubs, camping clubs. People are coming over from Europe, over from Asia, Thailand, and biking, mountain biking. It's got some of the top scenery just outside of the city where people are jumping on the motorbikes, they're just going off for the day trips, going off countrywide. They're using Chiang Mai as the base to do all these new and exciting things that people have been dreaming about retiring and doing, or still living here, still working here. There is so many clubs, so many sporting activities, so much hiking, so much nature around. People are just busy. It's a great place to be social. Yeah,
just whilst we're on as the kind of people that are here, those different groups, I've seen a huge shift in visas as well.
Yes.
There used to be, you talk to people, how they stay in here, there used to be a lot of more education visas. I'm noticing more that, if people aren't working here, then retirement visa, obviously, that always has been the case. But the other one, Thai visa elite,
yes,
is so common now. Yeah. It used to be very, very rare, right, for only people that could
yes
had the disposable income to afford it. But now it seems anyone, or not anyone, but so many people that are not old enough for 50 years old retirement visa are on Thai visa elite.
Yeah, there are visa options for many people. Okay, Thailand's not opening its doors to everybody to come in, but there's visa options. There's plenty of long-term visa options, and we will be meeting visa experts much more to go into the visa options later on in the series, because that's obviously a prime question for everybody. How can we get here? How can we stay here? And so on. The majority of people here are on long-term visas, such as tourist visas, education visas, business visas, marriage visas, and obviously the elite visa, which we've just discussed. Okay, so yeah, it's just what's not here in Chiang Mai? Can you think of anything you're missing from the UK?
I think an upgrade there's nothing that I really personally miss. Okay, but if I looked to something that I think they've talked about bringing in many a time, and I don't know the situation at the moment, but a better transport system. So they've talked about it for many years, the rail system, right?
Yes.
So light rail system. I do think that would benefit the city when it comes in?
Come on, I enjoy riding around on the red taxis all day, much more down to earth and stuff like that. Chiang Mai does
big difference from the West.
Chiang Mai does lack a decent subway system. They've talked about many different upgrades to the transport system, but they don't seem to take off, which is just a shame at the moment. But during the next couple of years, hopefully that will kick in and it will be, will be upgraded. But currently everybody's moving around on their own transport, red taxis, which is songtails, private taxis. Grab was a great Grab made a difference to Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone uses Grab now, don't they?
Yes, absolutely.
So, fantastic. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hopefully we've given you a great overview of Chiang Mai and why people move here. Okay. Over the next couple of months, okay, we're hoping to push out a series. We'll keep you posted on that, which answers more of your questions, okay, more of the finer details of living here in Chiang Mai. All we ask you to do, if you want a main topic to be covered, or or questions to be asked or brought up in the next video, if it's on topic, please just stick them in the comments section below, okay. Whether you're onto the side, if you're on Facebook or below, I'm not entirely sure, but we will do our best to answer all questions. Remember, we've been here, we understand the city and the town. We can answer, hopefully, okay. We still don't know everything, we never will. We also understand the processes of renting here, short term, long term. Also the processes of buying condos and houses here. We can advise or answer questions on all of that. Over the series, part of our series will be developing on the property side, part of our series will be focused on the livability, what's life like here in Chiang Mai for all those people that are planning long term to move here. And in the middle, we will be dealing with property focused, we will choose properties just to show people around. But our YouTube channel at the moment also pumps out as near on one video a day in English or Thai. Most of our videos are done once in English and once in Thai. So do make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel or following us on Facebook, and make sure you hit the bell on whichever side it's on one of these sides that gives you notifications so you do not miss the next video, and we hope to see you again soon. Okay.
Yeah, from me, obviously, it's been, I think the love that myself and Simon have for Chiang Mai is probably come across, and we hope to look forward to talking to you about more topics. I know we're going to have some fantastic people on that know Chiang Mai as well as we, if not more than
Absolutely.
we do, even more knowledge and different areas. There's so many people that we'll be excited to bring on. So if you do have any questions, then as Simon said, just leave a comment, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, leave a comment, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next video.
Okay. Remember, post your questions, post anything you want. Try and be nice. We will try. But thank you for your time this morning, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon. All right. Thank you from Simon.
Thank you from Paul.
And Sawadee Cup from Chiang Mai. Thank you very much, and see you again.